A woman's decisive step. Here she is, right on schedule, so my retribution has begun. I said it out loud, even though I was alone. I knew it because I could tell it was her without even looking. Why? Because I changed the ringtone I had set to her number. It was El Deguelo. You know that song that the Mexican army used to play all the time for the guys they surrounded in the Alamo? It means cutthroat, and they played it continuously, meaning that they would show no mercy to those under siege. I was so angry at my cheating traitor wife for ruining our marriage and breaking up my family that I needed my pound of flesh. I didn't answer because I knew she would be so angry that she wouldn't answer, that she wouldn't leave a message, and she would keep dialing until I answered. And every time she had to call, she got angrier and angrier. I decided that 6 times would be enough. I locked myself in my cheap motel room off Highway 6, choking on one of those microwave burritos that lay on the edge of my bed, which was infested with bed bugs. My wife might be cheating, but she was a pretty good cook. Damn, why would she do that? I wasn't too worried about the lousy room because my brother said the kids and I could stay with them for a while until I got all the money from my lawsuits. Then we could find a place big enough for me and the kids, and maybe even with a pool. Plus, Mary would have to pay me a huge child support payment, and that would help. When I explained to the kids what their mom had done, I swear I heard our 18-year-old Darlene giggle, but I could have been wrong. I told them they were coming to live with me. They seemed very excited about the prospect because they started high-fiving each other, excited about eating pizza often. It all started about a month ago. I found out about the fool's infidelity a month ago. Apparently, she'd been cheating on me for over a year, and I was a typical unsuspecting, loving husband. I found out by accident. No, actually, there was an accident on the highway on my way home from the feed mill, so I had to take a detour through the main streets. When I passed the Blue Dolphin Motel on 2nd Avenue, I thought I saw my wife's car in the parking lot. I turned around and drove back to the parking lot. Sure enough, there was her 5-year-old Kia with the license plate, Mary the one. Who would be stupid enough to cheat on their wife by driving their car with personalized license plates? Well, I had only been waiting a few minutes when I found out. My wife came out of the door of number 176 with a tall, handsome young man I had never seen before. She stood on all fours and kissed him with a passionate kiss, and he freely massaged her breasts right in front of God and everyone else. It looked as if she had forgotten to put on a bra. I left with steam coming out of my ears. I know that in most cases, the foolish male cock should break down in tears and/or head to the bar to get so drunk that he can't even see straight. He then has to go through all the "what did I do wrong to deserve this" arguments while he bawls his eyes out. Most men aren't even sure they want to divorce their cheating wife, but not me. I was divorcing this fool, that was obvious, but what I was really going to do was get my comeuppance. I didn't give a shit why she did it. She and her lover were going down, and going down with all their might. So I pretended to be a typical unaware husband, and pretended for a few days that everything was fine in the house while I plotted and planned. After meeting with my lawyer to start the paperwork, I was almost ready to leave, and it was going to be a beautiful sight. The first part of my revenge plan was to set up the asshole she was sleeping with. After I found out his name by giving the motel clerk $20, I also found out where he lived. At least he was single, so my wife wasn't breaking up 2 families. I caught him coming out of his luxury lakefront townhouse on a Saturday morning and kicked his ass for cheating. He was much bigger and younger than me, but after I tased him and he fell down shaking uncontrollably, I beat the shit out of him without much trouble. I bet that bastard will never use his junk again. Mary was out of town. She went to another seminar, since when does a secretary have to go to seminars? That's when I found out she had more than one boyfriend. So while she was gone, I could do all the usual banking stuff. I took the entire $1,195 from our check and $89 from savings and put it into an account in my name only. I was going to cancel the only credit card we had, but it was maxed out anyway. I think I went over the limit when I bought an R.L. Winston Pure Fly Rod last month. The credit card people said I couldn't cancel it until it was paid off. I then sent out copies of all the video and audio recordings my investigator gave me with all the documented misconduct. When I received the evidence, I learned that she had a 3rd boyfriend. I guess I didn't really have an investigator. I couldn't afford the expense. but I used my cousin Randy, who worked at Radio Shack. He knew how to use all this surveillance stuff, and it only cost me a case of PBR. He didn't have any overhead because he could borrow all the high-tech gadgets in his store that he needed to do the job. Also, it only took him a few days to deliver the product to Mary. He was a little surprised, too. He told me that she must be very dumb because she doesn't hide the fact that she makes love at all. So as I said, I sent copies of all my evidence to all her co-workers, family, and friends by email with a note explaining what a traitor she is. I can bet they will reprimand her for this and cut her out of their lives, and she will have to live the rest of her life as a recluse to hide her shame. I even sent one of them to her 93-year-old grandmother. I felt a little bad because she was a sweet old lady, and the sight of that shit could have given her a heart attack. But I was going to walk on scorched earth, so her grandmother was on the list. I also sent copies to her bosses at work to get her fired, and asked a lawyer to file a lawsuit against her company for violating their moral principles. He told me he had heard that they usually get over $300,000 for cases like this. I told my legal eagle to file an alienation of affection lawsuit against the 3 guys I knew about and all the others I found out about later. He seemed dubious, but charged an extra $300 because he said it would cost more. Then I made a bunch of 8x 10-inch postcards of her naked and sleeping with one of her lovers, with her name and cell phone number, and put them in the men's rooms of every bar in town. You know what they said. For a good time. But best of all, using all the videos I got from my cousin, I created a paid adult site of this shit on the internet, and all the money from it went to my new bank account. So far, there was only $47 in there, but it was only a few days. Anyway, she hung up 6 times, so I answered her next call 5 seconds later. "It's good to hear your voice, honey. How was your day?" "What the hell is going on, Bobby? Why are you breaking up with me?" "Because you're cheating on me, you idiot, that's why." "I understand, Bobby, but it's been going on for months and you've never been bothered by it, so why now? My God, you mean to tell me you didn't know?" "Of course I didn't know what was wrong with you. What the hell made you think I knew anything about it? Take that, dumbass. Did you even notice that I've been gone for 2 days?" "No, not really. You're rarely home anyway. Well, I was sure that when your mom caught me sneaking out of the motel room a few months ago with Thomas, she would have told you. When you didn't jump down my throat that night, I thought you just didn't care. So yesterday, when I found out about your whole revenge thing, I couldn't understand why you were so upset, so I called your mom. She told me that she never told you about it because if you were like your father, she would have understood why I was cheating, so she just forgot about it." "Oh, yeah. And she asked me to tell you not to even think about going back to her. 25 years of your lazy shit was all she could take. She told me she would be happy to have the kids stay with her from time to time if I wanted to take a weekend off to do whatever I wanted. But still, Bobby, I didn't hide it. You had to know. You mean none of your friends told you? Well, at least now I understand why you're so upset. It's actually very embarrassing. Seriously, none of your friends told you?" "Which of my so-called friends didn't tell me?" "Well, I mean Bill, Tommy, Chris, Pat, and a few others who saw me in bars and other places with other men. That was another reason why I thought you didn't care. Are you sure you want a divorce?" "Of course I'm divorcing you, you stupid woman!" "First of all, Bobby, please stop calling me names and let's resolve this like adults. I mean, we need to come to an understanding, but if you want a divorce, then so be it. We can make a joint custody agreement if you want, but right now I'm leaning towards giving you custody. You'll last about 30 days before you'll be begging me to take the kids back. You know that looking after 3 teenagers can take up a lot of time drinking with your buddies? Not to mention that you'll have to tell them no from time to time. Being a single parent means becoming a real adult. Do you know when Darlene graduates from high school, or when John has karate practice, or maybe what medicine one of the kids is allergic to? I bet you don't even know the address of the school they go to." "Well, no, but I could find out. Besides, I talked to them about it, and they want to stay with me." She started laughing hysterically, but finally calmed down to continue. "Of course, Bobby. You could be their big brother, and they would eat pizza every night. That solves everything. You get custody. By the way, they're not going to fire me at work. They laughed at your lawsuits and asked what the hell is a moral clause. Seriously, Bobby, I work in a law firm. Has anyone ever heard of a law firm with a moral compass? Everyone got a good laugh out of your emotional distress claims, too. Seriously, Bobby, does your lawyer really have a license to practice law, or did you screw up and pay the People's Choice Legal Clinic the full $795 up front? You should be getting a call from the police soon, and poor Thomas is going to sue you for reimbursement of his medical expenses. You should have at least worn a mask and covered your license plates. When I showed her your divorce papers, my lawyer started laughing because this is a no-fault state. It took her 10 minutes to stop laughing, plus she had to show your papers to all the other lawyers in the office. They all said it was the best laugh they'd had in years. Most of my friends and family members have called to support me and ask why I didn't dump you years ago. Of course, if it makes you feel any better, your brother called me a selfish fool for cheating on you. But then he asked me out when our divorce was finalized. I told his wife about it when she called to congratulate me. She asked if she could use my lawyer. Oh, and by the way, in addition to the police notifying you about the revenge movies, the feds will also be contacting you. Something about the RICO statute? And Bobby, does the name Tell Patty Johnson mean anything to you? What do you mean, no? Not really. Oh, shit. More hysterical laughter mixed with sarcasm. That's a good thing, Bobby, because my friend Lisa saw Patty walk into the free clinic yesterday. I'm just saying... Oh, shit. What's more, you've gained 40 pounds in the last 10 years, and it's all in your stomach. So I found 4 guys. 4? Damn, I only knew 3. Don't feel bad about it, Bobby. I was more discreet with your cousin Ralph. Ralph. Hush, Bobby, I'm on a roll. Besides doing everything around the house, you know I pay all the bills. Did you really think I wouldn't notice $220 a month for adult movies? I didn't say anything because, again, I thought you knew about my extracurricular activities. You don't do shit around the house either. We have the smallest and ugliest lawn in the neighborhood, and I still can't get you to mow the damn thing more than once a quarter. Remember when we thought we'd lost little Amanda? But she was just sitting there in the middle of the lawn, and the grass was taller than she was. I think you're exaggerating a bit about Mary. I could clearly see her head from the top step of the porch. And finally, did you really need to send a copy to my grandmother? I went to her and apologized. She was laughing when she said it looked like I had gone into her. I barely knew what to say. Obviously, this conversation was not going the way I expected. I mean, she was supposed to be sobbing hysterically, begging me for forgiveness, saying we could go to counseling, and saying she would fight for a divorce because she loved me so much. Listen, Bobby, I was going to divorce you when little Amanda turns 18 anyway, but if you want to get a divorce now, we can do it. You were going to divorce me? Why would you want to do that? Because I'm tired of having 4 kids at home, that's why. But we only have 3 kids. You're the 4th child, Bobby. You should have talked to me about all this, Mary. I tried, Bobby, but I gave up years ago. Do you remember how many times I tried to talk to you at home, but you said not now because the Astros were only down 6 in the 7th inning and they needed your help? No, I really don't remember that. That's probably true because the only thing you remember is that the fridge was full of PBR and that you went fishing with your friends. And then, of course, there's Patty. But there is an alternative to divorce. We can leave everything as it is. I'd even give you your 90 seconds 3 times a month like we do now if you want, but I'd still have my male friends. I mean, after you get out of prison, of course. I promise to be more careful in the future. Sorry about that part, but like I said, I thought you knew. What are you going to be anyway, Bobby? The end.